Mexico, the first city of the island. One time I was doing a tour and I had some Polish ladies with me, and every single time that I was saying, we're gonna go to Mexico, they were like, ha 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 ha. And I was like, Mexico, and they started to laugh and laugh and laugh. I found that curious. I was like, why are you laughing every single time that I say Mexico? Apparently in Polish, there's a similar word, which is not chico or chico or something, that means that you need to go to the toilets. And I was like, no, it's a city, okay? We're gonna see a little bit of Ponte de São Lourenço now, guys. In the very end, you see over there, in the far end, kind of like a peninsula, that is Ponte de São Lourenço, where we're gonna go also today. It's a nice activity that we do over the weekends in Ponte de São Lourenço. It's to push people over the cliffs. It's a nice activity. Look around, guys. You see, like we spoke about the real estate, you see more and more houses coming up. There's an alarming number that I saw last week. Madeira, being an island, it's very appreciated by people that have a little bit more money. And in all Portugal, Madeira, it's the one that are selling the most to foreigners. At the moment, our markets, it's already 30% to foreigners, not locals. Concerning why? Inflation, you know. So many of the people that are buying properties outside of Portugal, unfortunately, they are not buying for themselves. They are buying to be profitable. So what they do Airbnbs and such, and what this creates lack of houses to rent for the locals, and the prices, of course, of real estate goes 3 or 4 times. Yeah, so it's alarming numbers, unfortunately, for us, the locals. All right, so I did promise you guys that I would tell you a love story. Yes. Alright, so Mexico, the first city of the island of Madeira, has this name for 2 reasons. The first one was when the discoverers arrived to the island, they come across with this bay, the Bay of Mexico, and reminds them a little bit of a place in Portugal called Monchique, the mountains of Monchique. So that's why they put the name Mexico. But there's another story, a romantic story. This story goes back on the time of King Edward III in Bristol, UK. On the kingdom there was this knight, a beautiful knight called Robert Machine. Robert was single, well-spoken, well-known among the ladies. And one time, Robert came across with this beautiful young lady called Anne de Arfet. Guys, it was instant love. They fell in love quite hard, and they wanted to get together. Trouble was, back then, when the lady was born, she was already meant to be married with a different guy. But Anne didn't want this guy. He was a little bit ugly, quite rude. She wanted Robert. So Robert, what he did, he starts speaking with some friends, a captain that he had, friends, and he asked the captain if the captain could take Robert and Anne. The captain was going to France. The captain said yes, and of course Robert told the plan to Anne, and Anne straight away agreed, said yes, let's go. And they did. They embarked in that journey a couple of days after to be happily ever after. But these stories, guys, they always have a but, isn't it? A few weeks in the ocean, they come across with a big storm. Oh, and look at the plane here on the air doing the turn. See here to your right hand side. Did you guys did that? Twice? Wow. You really enjoyed it. High winds? High winds, wasn't that? Yeah, it's normal. It's impressive when he does that turn. Sometimes they come directly to the runway, but always depending on the winds. But we'll speak a little bit more about that. So they come across with this big storm, which damaged the boats. And the boats end up here in the island of Madeira. In desperation, because it was many weeks in the ocean without food and water, so in desperation they jumped to the water to see if they were able to find any food and water. But no one secured the boats. The boats end up crashing in the rocks. Everybody survived, but the unthinkable happened 2 days after. Anne died with a fever. Robert was very heartbroken. They say literally he died on the top of Anne's graveyard after 2 months. In honor of them too, the rest of the survivors, they built a wooden cross with the name Robert and Anne Machine. The rest of the survivors, they wanted to get rescued too, so they built a small boats and went to the ocean. They went to the ocean and they end up in Morocco. In Morocco, they went to a jail because the Moroccan people locked them out, went to a jail, and they come across with a Spanish pilot. They told the story about Robert and Anne. They set the pilot free after a few months, and on his travels going to Spain, he come across with the Portuguese Armada, and the Portuguese stopped the guy and tried to lock the guy, and the guy told the story about Robert and Anne and this island too, and the Portuguese came in here and discovered the islands. They also found the wooden cross with the name Machine, and in honor of that name, they removed the M on the end and added an O. That's one of the origins of the name Mexico. Guys, this is a story, yes, but this might be, they think that this might be a true story. There's records of, in that time period, there's records in Liverpool from a guy under the name Robert Machine that left the harbor, and they cannot find the records in other harbor. So we might think that the British was the first people to live in the island, okay, due to this story, because there's no more records about other stories. Well, there's records, for example, they discovered in Ponta de São Lourenço, which is just over there, they discovered the skeleton of a rat, and they traced the DNA of that rat, goes back until the time of the Vikings. So the Vikings only came in here, left us a rat, and went away. But yeah, might be the first inhabitants of the islands, the British. The airports, what a fun ride, isn't it? That's why we don't have roller coasters in here. We don't need it. Once you arrive to the airport, it is enough. Our airports, prior to the 50s, we didn't have any runway. We did have also flights that used to land in the water, in Funchal, aquaplanes. But on the 50s, they then decided, they was like, okay, so we need a runaway. So what they did, they did a trial runaway and over there. The original name is Santa Catarina, but they changed to CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo. And they built the first runaway with a length of 1.6 kilometers. Only, guys, only. Very, very small runaway. On the year 77, flights coming from Europe with the destination Madeira. It was very bad at that time. It was nighttime, very windy, foggy, rain, and the pilots did the first approach to the runaway. Unsuccessful. He lifted again. He did a turn and he went again to the runaway. Unsuccessful. A third attempt, he went for it, but when he went for it, he passed the breaking point. And it was filled with water, the runaway. He aquaplaned a little bit, and the plane fell down, snapped in two, and 131 people died in that time. So far was the only accident registered in our airport. After that, they decided that the runaway, yes, they investigated and they said, well, actually this is very short, okay, so we need to extend it. So from 1.6 they put it for 1.8, not much, just 200 meters more. But in the year 2000, that's where they inaugurate the runway that you guys landed, almost 3 kilometers, which is much better. Still the way, very short. Madeira was considered one of the, on the top 10 of extreme airports to land. One thing is for sure, guys, the one thing is for sure, every single time that you fly in or out of the island, guys, you are 100% sure that you got a very experienced pilot. Because not all of the pilots can fly in here. They need to have certain certificates, flight hours, and so yes, it's a very experienced pilot. Wow, today it's roadworks after roadworks. Interesting. There you go. On our front, we got the airport over there. There's a flight going on the runway. This year, guys, I think we went to the the record of the airport. This year, because it was very fustigated with the high winds. And this year, in 5 days, we had 250 flights that were cancelled. 5 days. There's webcams all around the islands. And there's a webcam that you can see that image, like that, like it is, like so. And in one of those days, it was very windy. So I was just following the webcam. I followed for half an hour. And I saw a flight like that one, an airplane, standing there. Guys, lunchtime, I was having lunch and I was checking the news. The flight that I saw in the morning, so apparently the flight went over there at 9 o'clock and they only flew at 12 o'clock, where they had a little bit of a gap of the wind and they went for it. So imagine you guys being stranded from 9 to 12 o'clock inside of the... Wow, I think I would be very stressful. And they already spent so much money in studies to see if they can build something or do something to ease off the winds, but it's complicated. It is very complicated. We actually today gonna drive underneath the runway of the airport. You're gonna see that structure, and we will gonna see the comparison of the old runway with the new runway. In this particular case, we can use that sentence, size does matter. Yes, you're going to see what I'm talking about. On the old runway, if you landed on the old runway, you would do like John Paul II, like he used to do, kiss the runway when you leave the flights. Everybody clapped when you guys landed? Yes. I think that's very normal. Yes. It's kind of like, oh, thank God we landed. But one thing, you guys always need, if you fly to Madeira, you always need to have a travel insurance. Always. Because if the wind is too strong and the flights cannot go, if you don't have a flight insurance, you don't have options where to stay. So in here, you need 100%. In some airports, there's no much really need of that, but in here, you do need it. They did some studies to see where they could build an alternative airports, because some of the flights it's like this. For example, you guys come into a flight and it's too windy, and the companies, they've got different protocols. So some companies, what they do, they try several approaches. If they're not successful, they've got alternatives. Some of them, they can go to the nearby island of Porto Santo, which is just around the corner, let's say, from ours. And if you land in Porto Santo, it's a good thing because the ferry can bring you to Madeira. Some of them, they go to the Canary Islands. Some of them, they go to Portugal. Some of them, they just simply go back to the same location. So always depends on the protocols that the many companies they have. Have you guys heard about the island of Porto Santo? Yes, it's an island that we've got nearby. Population of Porto Santo, well, the population of Porto Santo, we can fit all of them in a ship cruise. Yes, guys, it's almost 500 people. 5,000, sorry. 5,000 people, and some of the new ship cruises, they can accommodate that or more. But it's an island very small, smaller than ours. Not too many mountains as ours, but it has a 9-kilometer of yellow sand beach. Amazing. If you ever have the opportunity to go to Porto Santo, bury yourselves in the sand, okay? Because the sand of Porto Santo has really good properties for your skin and your bones. They even have a center over there, which is kind of like a spa center, which is the thalassotherapy center, which they do exclusive treatment just with the sand. If you want to go, you got two options. You can take the ferry that goes from Funchal to Porto Santo. It takes about 2.5 hours. Or you can take a flight. The flight takes a little bit longer. It's about 15 minutes to go to Porto Santo. It's a very small flight. Alright, so in a very short moment, we're going to start seeing in our front the old runway and the new runway. looking forwards in the ends over there. So the first structure that you guys are seeing, it's the old runway. The one in the back was the one that you guys landed. So guys, compare now the difference of size among them two. Massive difference. Do you see? We had to build that one on the back. Why? Because this one, the original one, we couldn't extend it forwards. Because if you went forward, we got the ocean. So we don't have a foundation. So we had to go on the back because we got land. We've got more than 100 pillars supporting these two infrastructures. Down below, there's a car park and there's some business now. In the car park, before the COVID, they used to organize big musical events in here. The nightclubs in Funchal. Musical events that used to last until 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, easily. Now it's kind of like a dry dock for small boats. And look at this infrastructure, guys. When you land and when you are standing there, you don't know what's underneath. And when you get to drive underneath, you're like, wow. Alright, we are arriving now to a viewing point where we're going to see the city of Mexico, which has a small yellow sand beach, such as in a place called Quereta, a yellow sand beach, which it's not, you guys know, it's not natural from here. So it was imported from Morocco. We are just nearby Morocco. And this is the only two yellow ones that we've got. We've got black ones now, some original in Seychelles and also Prainha. And now we can say that we can see more black sand beach when the tide is getting low. When you get low tide, you can see a little bit more black sands. Alright, arriving to the first city of the island, Mexico. To the right hand side of Mexico, we got the village called Canisal, a fisherman's village, where they got also the industrial harbor. Sometimes this can be quite windy around these parts. Alright guys, so we go out for a picture. One time I was here with a group, and while we're standing here, we could see a big turtle on the ocean, swimming. It was amazing. I think it was the first time that I saw that.